You gotta be kidding me!
Welcome back to another edition of Dante's Hearthstone Rise of Shadows card reviews. I am doing all the neutral cards, all 45 of them. I'm going to do it in a constructed and arena rating with 5 candles each, or 0 depending on how terrible it is. Of course, you can check out the other 9 classes. I do all them in separate videos. Check them out on the YouTubes. Either way, I'm going to try to do this a little quick because there are a ton of them. So let's get through it. Here we go. We have Violet Warden, 6 mana, 4/7, taunt and spell damage. This is strictly, I would say, better than the already 6 mana, 4/7 with spell damage that no one already uses. Will this be used? Probably not in constructed. I don't think it's terrible, but is it going to be used in a deck that's in the meta, even tier 3? I'm going to say no. It's not like a bad card, but it's not almost broken to where it needs to be to actually be utilized well in the constructed standard format. So it's going to get a solid 2 candles for me on that one. Now, is it good in arena? Yes, I would say it's actually pretty fair. It's pretty good in arena. I mean, even the 4/7 for 6 mana without anything is okay, because arena stats are kind of skewed because generally you don't have the greatest of minions. You can't really pick what you want to pick. So I'm gonna actually give it a 3.5. It might be a slightly better than that, but 3.5 I think is pretty good for that one. All right, so next up we have the 4 mana 1/6 Violet Spell Sword Battlecry. Gain +1 attack for each spell in your hand. This is an interesting card, and I keep going back and forth on it in my head. Is this any good? Let's just go straight up with arena. I think in arena it's fairly bad. I'm gonna give it 2.5. Like, if it works, and you're gonna see this a lot with a lot of these cards, if it works, it's pretty damn good. I mean, if you have 2 spells, this is an okay card in arena. If you have 3 spells, it's a good card in arena. 4 spells, it's a great card, like, you know, so on and so forth. But spells are a little bit harder to come by in arena specifically, so I can't really rate it that high. However, in constructed, will this be used? There are going to be some spell decks out there. I mean, Spell Hunter was a thing. I think that has to go away, right? Some of those cards are going away. It's tough to have a almost full spell deck anyway, but Spell Hunter could be a thing that could use this. I mean, let's say you have 4 spells in your hand, you play this, you get a 5/6 on 4. That's really good. So I mean, it's possible this could be played in some decks, even maybe a mage deck, just to have a minion on the board to essentially draw more cards. I mean, it's sort of stalling the game out until you can get your more combo pieces. And I think it might be used in a deck or two. It's tough to say. Is it good enough in a spell deck? It might be. So I'm gonna give it a solid 3. This one is a little bit tough. I think people hate on this maybe a little bit much, but I don't know, it might surprise you. Next up, we have a 2 mana 3/2 premium stats. Spellbook Binder Battlecry. If you have a spell damage, draw a card. So is this great in arena? Yes, it is, because it's a 2 mana 3/2, which generally, if you're at that point of the low mana curve and card costs, any card that's a 2/3 or a 3/2 is pretty good, because that's essentially what you're getting from any card anyway. This has a bonus effect that if you have spell damage, you get a card. So it's not like you're losing anything generally. So I think it's a pretty good arena card. Now, is it a good card in constructed? I'm going to say no, because I don't think Battlecry decks are good decks. At least I'm not seeing it right now. Maybe there's going to be more spell damage synergies or something in the future, but obviously you can't even play this with Malygos unless you have the coin, and you wouldn't do that anyway because Malygos would die. Like, what's the point? I don't really see this being any good in constructed, so I'm going to give it 1.5 candles. So what's next here? What else do we got? 8 mana 4/4 Heroic Innkeeper. Taunt Battlecry. Gain 2/2 for each other friendly minion. This is an interesting card. I actually think this when it works is tremendous. When it doesn't work, it's obviously garbage. I mean, a 4/4 taunt for 8 mana is terrible, but you got 2 minions and you got an Iron Bark. You have 3 minions, you have better than that. Now, when are you going to get that? Well, arena, it is more possible. I feel like the mana is too hard for and too high for constructed. I don't think this is going to be used. I think there's just better options, or even removal that just, you don't need this. I don't know why you would want this. Even if you resummon it, it's going to be a 4/4, I think, in whatever ways you can do that. I just don't see this card working out. So I think in constructed it's a 1. In arena it's a little bit polarizing because obviously it could just be a 4/4, but it's one of those interesting things where a lot of times when you have the board state you win. But you have seen I forgot the card where every minion you have it gains +1/+1. You have seen that card sort of reign supreme annoyingly with like a shaman or a paladin. So this could be a sleeper hit, so I don't want to really call it garbage, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5 in arena because I think it can surprise you and it can sort of lock out a game. That's really what I'm going with on that one. Next up we have a 3-mana 3/3 stealth. I think this is actually strictly worse than the 3-mana 4/2 panther, stealth panther, but it's still fine because you can buff it up and stuff like that. So I think it's actually a 3.5 in arena, but I think in constructed it definitely won't be used, and I'm just gonna give it a solid 1. That's just not going to be used in constructed. I just can't see it right now. If the other one's not used, why would that one be used? 3-mana 3/4 Flight Master Battlecry. Summon a 2/2 Griffin for each player. I see where this can work. A weapon. You have a weapon already. You have this. You get essentially 5/6 for 3. That's incredible. But you need a weapon anyway. Now there are some classes that have weapons. This will not be used. I can almost guarantee you this will not be used in constructed. Half a sad, slumpy, scrumpy candle. Now, will it be used in arena? Most likely not. I'm gonna give it 1.5. It is better in arena, but it's not great. This is a bad card. It's one of those like it could be used maybe effectively, but man, what's the point? I don't see the point. Pack filler. 3-mana 5/1 Faceless Rager, Battlecry, copy of friendly minions health. This is an interesting card. One of the more interesting cards in this expansion, because is it good? I mean, you have a 5-mana 5/1. It's a magma rager, right? 5-mana 5/1 bad. It just dies by like just some hero power. It's just easy, or any minion essentially. So it's bad, but this is copy of friendly minions health. So let's say you have a 0/2 up. Well, now it has 2 health. Well, it doesn't die to just a hero power, and it has 5 damage or 5 attack. So it's like, it's bad, but it's not that bad. Well, you have a 3 health. Well, now it's a 5/3 for 3, which is actually pretty damn good. Or maybe it's 4 health or 5 health. I mean, how many, like, you can play this on turn 10 and have a 7 drop with it and make a 5/7 for 3 and like a 7/7 or a 7/8 or something. Like, that's pretty damn good. I don't know if it will be using constructed again, because there's probably just better options, but it might be. I mean, 3 mana and you drop 2 cards, like that's a good board presence right there. So I really don't think this card is that bad. I don't think it's game breaking or anything like that, and it's not gonna, you know, essentially cause a ruckus in the meta or anything like that. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's surprisingly good. I think it's I'm gonna give it a 3 in constructed, and that might be super high and that might be super low. I don't know. I'm actually gonna give this a I'm gonna give this a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4 in arena. It might be higher than that, honestly. I think it's a really good card in arena, but constructed is the interesting one. I think it can be used, but I don't know if it will be. Next up, we have a 6-mana 6/4 Eccentric Scribe. Death Rattle summon 4 1/1 Vengeful Scrolls. They're just 1/1s that are scrolls. That's all they are. It's an interesting card. Automatically, it just is annoying and good in arena. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 in arena. In constructed, I just don't see where this... Why? When do you use this? What deck do you use this? I don't see it yet. Like, you clear this, or you just don't touch it, or you taunt up, or like there's so many ways to just combat this. I just don't see it being good and constructed. 1.5 candles. I don't know. I'm not seeing it right now, but maybe I'm not wrong. Whatever. No one's using that card. 5-mana 5/4 Dalaran Crusader. Obviously this is pack filler, but it actually is pretty good in arena. I'm gonna give it a solid 3.5 right there. And in constructed, it's a 1. No one's gonna use this card. I mean, if it had a tribe stamp on it or something, I don't know. Right now I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, get it out of here. 9 mana 9/9 9/9 9/9 Burly Shovel Fist Rush. Looks cool, has like shields for arms and stuff. Arena, I think this is a decent arena card. 3.5. You're gonna see a lot of 3.5s because a lot of them are just like good enough. They're not like crazy, but you can see in arena rush cards are actually really good. Even the 5/7 taunt, 5/7 taunt for 7 mana that rushes, even that card is annoying in arena. So I think this is actually gonna be surprisingly good, and a lot of people are gonna pick it. I mean, 9 health, 9 attack, it can kill just about anything. Will this be used in constructed? Well, don't sleep on cards like this. Now the difference is this is rush, so it can't attack face no matter what whenever it comes out. So that is the interesting part. Whereas I forgot the skeleton dinosaur, I forgot what the hell that is, the 8 mana 7/7 that can attack face because it's not rush, it's charge. Can't attack face when you play it, so it's charge whenever you summon it in a different way. So this is different, so this sort of loses out a little bit on that, on other sort of weird summon things. So are there sort of resurrect decks or something that can use a 9/9/9 rush minion? Maybe a priest, but other than that, I'm not seeing it being used, so I'm just gonna give it a 1.5 on that one. I don't see any deck that would really need to use that. 2 mana 2/3 elemental arcane servant, 2.5 in arena. It's fine. I mean, it's got the stats you want on a 2-drop. Fine, whatever. Elemental tag. I don't see it being used in constructed. It's like not terrible. It just doesn't do enough. The tribal of elemental just doesn't do enough here. I don't know. I don't see the point. 1 mana 1/2 Toxfin battlecry, give a friendly Murloc poisonous. In arena this is essentially garbage. I'm gonna give it a 1 candle because you have to have synergy. Maybe it works in a shaman deck that has a little bit more Murlocs than others, maybe, but why would you pick it other than that? Like, it's pretty situational. Sure, it's good if you can pick it then if you have a ton of them, but the chances are not the case. So arena is pretty bad, obviously, unless you have the synergies. But again, that goes with any damn thing, so whatever. In constructed, is this good? I think it's not great in constructed, but it does help the Murlocs a little bit. Murlocs have always been sort of offensive, attack face, rush, destroy face, everything like that, right? But not really defensive, and this sort of helps. I mean, they drop a big taunt, you put Toxfin on, you know, whatever garbage Murloc you have out there, and bam, you just broke through that taunt. So I think in that regard it is good in specific decks. Obviously the shaman deck that seems to be the lord of Murloc, so in that specific deck I do think it's good. I do think it will be used, so I'm gonna give it 3.5 because allowing for you to have Murloc synergies without needing essentially a hex or something like that, a removal, so a 1 less Murloc type card, I think that's actually does pretty good. So I think it will be used in that case. And we have a 6 mana 4/5 safeguard taunt death rattle summon a 0/5 vault safe with taunt. I think in arena this will be annoyingly good, actually. Gives you a few cards, gives you maybe a few turns to just destroy them or find a combo piece or something to stall, do whatever you need, and it's a mech. I'm not sure if the vault safe is a mech, actually. So if that's a mech too, then this card's actually a little slightly better than I thought it was. Will this be used and constructed though? That's the interesting part, because there are resurrects, there are ways to summon out minions or maybe get a 1/1 version of this or something, and it's interesting to me because it is annoying. You know, there was Sludge Belcher, which was a 5 mana 3/5, which is not great, but then the death rattle was summon a 1/2 taunt, and everybody had that in every single deck forever, like until that card was gone. So this is a 6 mana 4/5 taunt and gives a 0/5 vault. Is that good? I think that's pretty good. I mean, I think 6 mana is high, but it is annoying. No one wants to deal with this crap. It's just annoying, and it'll most likely give you another turn. So that's why I don't want to sleep on the safe here. I don't want to sleep on this card because I don't know. I don't think it's that terrible, but I don't think it's going to be meta defining. And it's no auto include, certainly not. So I'm going to give it a 3. I don't think it's that bad. I don't know. I think it's going to be even surprising to people that it's going to be used. 2 mana, 2/3, Sunreaver Spy, battlecry. If you control a secret, gain +1/+1. This card could be good. In Arena, the cards, it's a 2 mana, 2/3 with the bonus stat, so it's fine. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. Like, nothing crazy. Obviously, if you can get the battlecry to proc, it's awesome. It's a 2 mana, 3/4. That's crazy stats. Only Shaman had one of those, and it gave you Overload. So how is it constructed? I mean, if you have no mage is going to use this, let's be honest. Rogue, most likely not. I would be shocked. They just have other cards that are more fun, honestly. Paladin is the only one that would use it. Turn 1, you do a secret. Turn 2, you play this. I could see that being a thing. I mean, obviously, but the problem is you need that in your opener. And later, I guess that can still work with other cards. So Secret Paladin is the only deck you'd ever really see this with. That's part of my issue with it. You wouldn't see it in a Hunter. You wouldn't see it in Mage or Rogue or whatever. That's why this is a little weird to me. So it's a, I don't know why they didn't just make this like gain +1/+2 or something and just made it a Paladin only or something. I don't know. It's weird. If it is used, it'll be used in that deck. So that's all I can say. 2.5 I'm gonna give it, because that's it. But it's not, I don't think it's overly powerful because you need to draw it. It's not like when you draw, oh look at this card does so much. No, it's just good stats for no mana. Here we go. 2 mana, 0/6 mana reservoir. This might be the worst, possibly the worst arena card ever. Not ever, but it's up there. It's up. So you get the half slumpy, scrumpy, no fire, gross, melty, terrible candle. It's awful in arena. Awful in arena. And interestingly, oh yeah, it's awful in constructed. No one's using this. It doesn't matter that it's an elemental. It could be all of them. It could be an amalgam. Doesn't matter. No one's using this. It's garbage. 6 health is interesting, only to like a priest, but you're not going to use it anyway. Like, I would be shocked if this is used. You see it, you can just hit into it for free because it's garbage and spell down. Like, I just don't see it being used anywhere. You never pick it. It's too common. Get out of my face. Looks like trash. I hate it. 4 mana, 2/6 Proud Defender. Taunt has +2 while you have no other minions. I think this is a good card. 3.5 in arena. I just think, you know, 4/6 is awesome when you don't have minions, and you just plop this down and maybe wait a second or something, and then you're doing pretty good. And you know, there is that Stegodon that's a 2/6 taunt, and it's 4 mana. This has just a bonus effect that if you're slightly behind or maybe the board is empty, you play this and there you go. It's not like it's only on your turn. It's if you have no other minions, you can also attack with it. So it's actually, I think, pretty good. And I would say it's very similar in constructed. I think this will be used in some decks, maybe Warlock or something like that, that playing very slow just to buy them more time or something like that. I think it's a good card. I think it's not surprising that'll be used, but I think it's going to be surprising at how much it's actually worth. Not amazingly great, but I think it's just good enough. We have a 4 mana 5/6 Soldier of Fortune. Whenever this minion attacks, give your opponent a coin. So it's essentially Hungry Dragon, except a little bit better, I would say, because Hungry Dragon, when it dies, it gives the opponent 2, but this only when it attacks. So you can taunt this up, or you can silence this, or you can do some things. And I think it might actually be used in Priest, if anything. So I think because of that, I'm going to give it 2.5, because Priest is looking at this sort of silence archetype that might be all right. It might actually be pretty decent. So I think if that's the case, this can work, but only in Priest and only in that specific archetype. So I can't give it higher than a 2.5. In Arena, I think it's fairly similar, 2.5. Like, Hungry Dragon's not the worst in Arena, but it's obviously not the best. It's a very interesting card, and I think that this card is slightly better for the most part, because you can be proactive, you can do stuff, you can even not attack if you're afraid that they're going to drop something crazy. Hungry Dragon, it just depends on how it dies, right? So yeah, I think it's okay in arena. I think it's slightly better than Hungry Dragon, but of course it could be worse, but you know, whatever. Next card, we have a 2-mana 2/3 Dalaran Librarian. Battlecry, silence adjacent minions. Of course, this is the card I was talking about that could silence something, and anyone can use this, but Priest is going to be the one that would want to use this because they have some other cards that they would like to silence on their own side of the board, which is interesting. And I like effects like this where it's generally when someone thinks of a silence, that's a bad thing. You don't want to get silenced, but this is trying to turn it into a good thing to get those terrible card effects out of the way, and this does it. So will this be used in constructed? I think it will be used in the very specific Priest deck that's a silence, but that's it, nothing else. And is this any good in arena? No, it's generally not good in arena. I'm gonna give it a 2. I can't give it really lower than that because it's a 2 for mana for 2/3. Possibly you can have a weird synergy or something, somebody corrupts you and then you uncorrupt it with the silence or something like that. A lot of times your minions in arena aren't, you know, death rattles or don't have effects because generally they just are suckier cards, because that's how this works in arena. So it's like not as bad, but it still can be mostly bad because you are going to silence at least one minion on your deck, or in your in play on your side, which could be a bad thing if you have no other option. So that's giving you less options. We have a 1-mana 1/1 Potion Vendor. Battlecry, restore 2 health to all friendly characters. This card is good. This card's actually pretty good. I think it's going to be used in Druid, possibly Paladin, Priest, and maybe a few others. It might be used in like everything, even Rogue, because 2 health. Warlock, who knows? I mean, the fact that this is all characters and it's a 1-mana 1/1. Now they had the 3-mana card that did it, but this is a 1-mana 1/1. And it's like, could this be used in Rogue and you can keep bouncing it back for added health or something? Like, there's stuff you can do with this, and I think it's better than people think because of how cheap it is. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 in constructed, and I think I'm just gonna give it a 2.5 in arena. I think it's slightly worse in arena, but it's not terrible in arena. But the 1 mana is very enticing, I'll say that. I think this is a decent card. Next up, we have a 2-mana 2/1 Hench Clan Hogsteed. Rush, death rattle, summon a 1/1 Murloc. Is this card good? Yes. Is this card constructed good? I don't think so. I don't think it is. I can't say for sure. I'm gonna give it 2.5 in constructed. Like, this could be good. It could be surprising that it's used in some decks, maybe even like a Priest deck, just to have something to clear something they might not normally be able to. I think this card is actually really good in arena. Yes, 4 candles in arena. I mean, just having an extra body after killing something, it's pretty decent. The value is actually pretty relevant there, and kind of crazy. Next up, we have a 4-mana 3/2 Traveling Healer. Divine Shield, Battlecry, 3, restore 3 health. Anything you want. This is 1 in constructed. No one's gonna use it. I didn't want to give it half because health and healing is still a lot better than people give it credit for, although Lifesteal is trying to sort of steal that, right? I think it is a 3.5 in arena. I think it's pretty good. The Divine Shield is annoying. I mean, they have a 3/1 for 3, right? Do they have a 3/1 for 3 and then have a 3/3 for 4 with Divine Shield? Now this is a 3/2 for 4, but also restores. I think that's pretty decent in arena, and I think people will pick that, and it will be surprisingly annoying, actually. Next up, we have 2-mana 1/1 Battlecry, add a Lackey. A Lackey is essentially like a 2-mana card for 1 mana. So will this card be used and constructed? I'm going to say no. I'm going to give it a half a candle. It will not be used and constructed. I don't know where this is used. Sure, you get Lackeys, but 2 mana for a 1/1, that's pretty terrible. Will this be used in arena? Slightly. I'll give it 2 candles. Not a lot in arena, but enough, I guess, for it to be okay, because Lackeys can have powerful effects sometimes. Next up, we have a 7-mana 3/5 Underbelly Ooze. After this minion survives damage, summon a copy of it. Is this good in arena? Generally, no, but the 5 health is interesting, so I'm going to give it a 2.5 on this one, because this can be really annoying. Not necessarily because you can proc it yourself, although you could with the mage, but this could get kind of out of hand where your opponent always has a 4 attack or less, and you just keep making more of these annoying minions. And I think because of that, this card's not as horrible as some people might think it is. And I think the same goes for constructed. Will this be in a constructed deck? It's tough for me to say that it will. I don't think it will, but maybe there's something I'm missing that this can be really annoying and you can keep reloading the board or something. I mean, Warrior can sort of do that with a lot of cards they have, but I don't think it's good and constructed, but I think it's weird. The 5 health is a surprisingly good amount of health for this card, and I think that's what might be surprising, but I can't go high with it. 2 candles on that, 2.5 in arena. And of course, now we're up into the higher rarity cards, but 7 mana, 3/7 Tunnel Blaster, Taunt, Death Rattle. Deal 3 damage to all other minions. Well, if you know what type of deck you have in arena, and maybe you are a heavier type of deck and you're playing against aggro, well, this is a great card. It's actually fantastic. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 in arena, but of course you have to pick accordingly. If you pick stupidly and you have all like aggro minions and then you drop this and then you lose your board and you're like, well, that card sucks, it killed everything, man. Obviously it's a bad card. Then you got to play it properly, but I think if you play it properly, it's actually pretty decent in arena. Is it good in constructed? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna give it 3.5 as well, because that 3 damage to all minions is actually surprisingly effective, and you don't need a dragon in your hand in order for this to proc or anything. And generally the damage itself is kind of irrelevant. The health is actually, it might be kind of higher than what you would want. Sometimes you even want something to die faster, because I think that's where the balance comes in with this card, which is weird, is it gave it higher health so that it can't die as easy, which means it's not like board clear, you know. So I think it's an interesting card, but I do think it will be used, because if aggro becomes a thing, obviously that's a card that's gonna be used, and it's not bad in a lot of other situations anyway. So I think it will be used and constructed. 5 mana, 3/6 recurring villain, Death Rattle. If this minion has 4 or more attack, resummon it. Now I think this card's actually decent in arena. I think it can be annoying. Paladin, really a lot of classes have like buff cards, but I mean, it's interesting. Any card that buffs that damage by 2 or 1, I guess. Yeah, I mean anything really. So it's a very interesting card. You can trade up and then you just resummon it and you keep doing that. And it has an awesome synergy with that demon, the 2/2 stealth demon that does +1 attack with all your minions. I love that. It's just infinite value with that technically. If only there's some way to infinitely taunt it too, that would be great, but obviously that seems a little bit OP. Will that be used in constructed though? That is the question. I think people are gonna fiddle around with it. It might be in a small tier 3 type deck, but other than that, I don't know if I see it really being something that's crazy. I think it's not meme value, but it's like almost highlight value, but like sort of does work. Like it can be annoying, but it's not enough to shut out a game. It's just enough to be annoying, maybe. So I think because of that, I'm gonna give it a 3. I don't think it's surprising, but maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Next up, we have a 4 mana 5/2 Portal Keeper, Battle Cry. Shuffle 3 portals into your deck. When drawn, summon a 2/2 demon with Rush. Portal Keeper loves demons and is also a demon, and I love demons too, because I think this card is surprisingly good. If this had 1 health, I think this card would be pretty bad. It has 2 health, so it doesn't just die automatically. It might take a small minion with it, fine, but you're getting that value later, and your opponent really can't account for that value. And I think that's why this is such a good card. It has low mana cost, shuffles things into your deck that you can use whenever. I mean, obviously you can't pick them, but that surprise factor is almost better in some instances, because they can't always play around it, because they don't know when it's going to happen, right? They could all be 3 in a row, or they could all be at the end of the deck, and you know, you don't know. So it's interesting, almost a mind games thing. Will this be used in constructed though? I think there's going to be some decks that actually do use it. So I'm going to give it a 3 in constructed. I don't think it's bad in constructed, depending on the deck. I mean, a 4 mana is, you can deal with that and still survive. But I just don't, if people think this is bad, I don't know. I feel like they need to reevaluate it. We'll see how the meta goes with it. In Arena, I think it's 4 candles. I think it's actually pretty good in Arena. I think it's annoyingly good in Arena. I might, you know what? I'm going to bump it up to 4.5. I think this is really annoying. Now, in Arena, a lot of times you don't get close to fatigue. But I think you should get enough cards to at least get one of these. And I think getting one of these is worth it. And the stats aren't that bad because the attack is high. And I think that's at least worth killing one minion and then maybe saving you later. I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's actually pretty damn good. Next up, we have the 5 mana 4/4 Sun Reaver Warm Mage. Warm Age. Yeah, War Mage. Battlecry, if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, deal 4 damage. I think when this works in Arena, it's spectacular. When it doesn't, this card sucks. So I'm split. So I'm going to give it just right in the middle, a 3. A 3 in Arena, I think, when it works, because you might have spells you hold on to a little bit more in Arena because they're at a premium. So a lot of times you want to pick the heavy spells. I think that'll work. That kills someone, killed their face, do whatever the hell you want. I think it's great when it works, terrible when it doesn't. Same thing goes for constructed. However, you're able to pick your cards because you know what you want. So I think that's where that might come in play. Does that mean this is a meta defining card? No. May it be used in a deck or two? I think it will be. I think there are going to be decks that try to utilize this because of, you know, they might need removal, something like a rogue or something. But the problem with rogue is they have a lot of 4 cost spells, not 5. So rogue really needs a card like this, but they almost can't, right? So it's interesting. I think it will be used just middle of the road, 3 and 3, nothing crazy, but when it works, it's going to be great for you or whoever's using it. 6 mana 4/4 Mad Summoner. Battlecry, fill each player's board with 1/1 imps. I'm just gonna automatically say right now it's a half a candle in Arena. I don't understand this card in Arena. I don't know why you would pick this. Am I missing something? Do you have a board clear that will help you? But then you just get, you know, what do you get? You get 10/10 worth of stats and you kill all their imps. Like, is that great? It's split up. Maybe they have flame strike and kill everything. I don't think it's great. I think it's terrible in Arena. I don't understand this card. Sure, it can work on some fringe cases because that's how a lot of cards work. I don't know. And I personally can't. I mean, maybe there's a card I'm missing. I just can't think of it. One candle in constructed, because maybe there's something you can do that makes this great. I don't know what it is. I think this card sucks. I can't see what it can do yet. It's not like you can kill them off with rush or whatever. I don't know what this does. I don't understand it. What does it do for you? I mean, if their board is already full and then you play this, they don't get any, but you're probably losing anyway. I don't know. I just don't. I think this card's terrible. I'm not seeing the combos for it right now. Maybe there's something. Put it in the comments below. I don't know. Next up, we have a 3 mana 5/6 Arcane Watcher. Can't attack unless you have spell power or spell damage. I don't think spell damage is going to be a thing, which is why I think this card would normally suck. However, I think Priest, and specifically Silence Priest, is going to be a thing. And I think this card is going to be in that deck. So because of that, I'm going to give this card a 3 candle rating. In Arena, this card is a half a candle. It's a terrible, scrumpy, slumpy, terrible half candle because it is bad. You're not going to have spell damage that often. And I don't think spell damage is even that great anyway, unless you have an OTK deck with like a Malagos, which this is not the case. Next up, 7 mana 5/8 Exotic Mount Seller. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 3-cost beast. I think this card is bad. You're not going to have that many spells. It's not going to be using constructed. I just don't see the mana cost is too high. You put it on the board, they're going to kill it immediately because that's how constructed works. And I think in Arena it's just slightly better, just barely. I mean, it's 7 mana 5/8 is actually okay in Arena, but you need to have the spells to back it up, and generally in arena you can't really pick as many as you want, so get that out of my face. Next up, we have one of the most interesting and possibly even the best cards in the set, the 4-mana 3/8 mech, the one that everyone is going to hate, Hecklebot, the taunt that battle cries your opponent summons a minion from their deck. This is a combo breaker, and I absolutely love it. You're like, okay, I have a few cards in my deck, it's a battle cry, it'll heal all my minions. Oh, Hecklebot came in, ruined it. Okay, here we go. I got Malagos. I can't wait to pull Malagos out and OTK this person. I got him. The next turn, they're done. Hecklebot pulls it out. You hex it or do whatever the hell you want to it. This is hilarious. I love this card. I think this card is fantastic for the game. I like that there's checks and balances to OTK decks. I love it. And it's a mech, and it's just hilarious. It's not Death Rattle. It's a battle cry. I love this card. I love this card, and I think it's gonna be played in a lot of decks, actually. So I'm gonna give this a 4.5 candles in constructed, because there's going to be a lot of combos that people are gonna try, and this is gonna ruin a lot of them. I can't wait for videos of montages of Hecklebot just ruining lives, laughing at you with this light bulb uvula. It's hilarious. I love it. In arena, awful. This is terrible. This could straight up make you lose a game. This would rarely ever make you win a game. Straight up make you lose. I'm gonna give it half a candle. In arena, don't pick this card. It's bad. In constructed, hilariously good, and your opponent is going to hate you a lot. Next up, we have a 3-mana 3/4 spell word Jeweler. Battlecry, your hero can't be targeted by spells or hero powers until your next turn. 3-mana 3/4, pretty good premium stats, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5 in arena. It's just a good card. Even if you don't use or don't even need that battle cry, well, it's still there for a safeguard regardless, for a spell or something. So it's pretty good, and it can help save you a turn against you know, a mage. You have 1 health left, you play this, they can't ping you in the face, you taunt up or something. That's good. It saves you a turn. I think it's actually better than good. I think it's almost great, and I think it may not be used in constructed, but if OTK decks with spells are a thing, it will be used, and this can help you gain 1 more turn, and that could help you win. So I think there might be a deck or two that is this may be used, so I'm gonna give it a 3. I think this is surprisingly good. Obviously if the meta shifts in a certain way, this will be useless essentially, but I think it's actually a pretty good card, and I like that, and they included that. Here we go. We're getting to the higher rarity now. 8-mana 6/6 Whirlwind Tempest. Your minions with Wind Fury have Mega Wind Fury. Now, there has only ever been 1 minion with Mega Wind Fury, and it has been Voltron from Mimiron's Head. Voltron from the meme was hilarious. Had Charge and Mega Wind Fury. What was it? 4? Was it only 3 attack? How much? I forgot exactly what it was. Well, Mega Wind Fury, it did good damage. The thing that was hilarious with it is you had to do all this work to get that to work itself, and it wouldn't even kill anyone in 1 hit. You know, well, 4 hits, which is hilarious. But this is interesting because this really wouldn't work in any deck almost ever. You would never be afraid of this because the Wind Fury tag makes minions cost so much for so little. Because it is powerful, it's just difficult to pull off because your minions will constantly be removed or taunted over. So that is interesting. Sucks, absolutely sucks in arena. I think it's a 1.5, only because 8-mana 6/6 is terrible, but at least it's not the worst. And maybe in some weird case you might be able to get something, but it's bad. Don't pick this card unless somehow it's a Wind Fury deck of madness somehow. But hear me out, listen to this. You go play Shaman, you have any minion on the board. Let's say this minion has 4 attack. You know, it doesn't even have to have health, doesn't matter as long as there's no taunt in the way. Let's say it's 4 health and the board's clear except for your minion that's 4/1, and then, you know, they drop like Malagos or something. They drop a big minion that's not a taunt. Well, you play Whirlwind Tempest, and then you drop the Wind Fury card on that 4 attack minion you have, the Wind Fury spell from Shaman specifically, only in Shaman. Then you're doing 16 damage to their face. So what was a threat of 4 damage turned into 16 damage to the face. I think that's interesting, and I think there's going to be hilarious combos with that. So I can't write it off completely. I'm going to give it 2.5 candles, but it's only and possibly and maybe okay in a certain type of shaman deck, which I find interesting. So, you know, I'm going to bump it up to 3 because I think that's scary. It's actually scary because then you got to keep clearing their board. Otherwise, you're risking getting this super Wind Fury onto your face hole. So I actually think it's just scary. It's an interesting, I'm gonna build a deck like that and we're gonna see how terrible it is. Next up, we have a 6 mana 5/6 demon portal Overfiend. Battlecry, shuffle 3 portals into your deck. When drawn, summon a 2/2 demon with rush. Again, this is not terrible stats. A 5/6 for 6 is not terrible. I mean, obviously you want better, but it's enough where it's annoying. And then you get these demons in your deck that when you draw them, they rush. And I think that's very good value. And I think that's actually pretty decent in Arena. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I'm going to give it a solid 3 in Constructed. I think this is actually would be used less in Constructed than the other one, because the other one was 4 mana and it was sort of almost more allowable, especially if you get it early on. So I think, yeah, I'm going to bump it down to 2.5 candles. I actually don't think it will be used. I think the other one might be used, but this one probably not. Next up, we have a 5 mana 2/7 Azurite Elemental. At the start of your turn, gain spell damage +2. Every turn you gain +2 spell damage. You have this for 3 turns, 6 plus spell damage. I love it. I don't know where this card belongs. Maybe Rogue, maybe Priest. I don't know where it belongs, but I love it. And I think it's great. I love cards like this. Cards with it's almost a passive effect, right? I mean, it's gaining more spell damage, but you can't even really use it unless you use it, right? So you got to keep it alive, and it doesn't have spell damage initially. It gains it, so it's like it can be scary, but initially it sucks. It's a very interesting card. I love this card. I think this is a 2 in Arena, and I think it's a I'm gonna give it a 2 in Constructed, and it only got a 2 in Constructed because there might be some sort of weird combo you can do with it that I can't see. Maybe stealth it in Rogue or something. I don't know what you can do. I don't know. Anyways, next up we have Magic Carpet. 3 mana 1/6. After you play a 1-cost minion, give it +1 attack and rush. Could this card be good? Sure. Is it good? No. This is bad. I'm gonna give this half a candle in Arena, and I'm gonna give it, I hate this card actually. I'm gonna give it just a very slumpy half a candle in both. It creates a very terrible, awful, disgusting, gross candle. I don't like it. Get out of my face. Just real quick, I want to go back to it only because look at the rarity. 3 mana 1/6. I just don't understand. I mean, what deck why, how? Murlocs, 1 mana Murlocs Shaman, is that where it belongs? I just don't think. I think having a different Murloc is better than this. I don't like that card. 4 mana 3/3 Hench Clan Hag. Battlecry, summon 2 1/1 amalgams with all minion types. I think this card is actually pretty good in Arena. I think it's a 3. Ooh, it might be even a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4 in Arena. I think the fact that there are any types has a lot of synergies with Murlocs and stuff like that. I think, and having annoying more minions on the board a lot of times really works in your favor in Arena, and I think that's the case here as well. Now, will this be used and Constructed? I don't think so. I think it's, I'm gonna give it a 1.5. I don't think it'll be used. They don't rush. Maybe if they rushed or something. I don't think so. I think in Constructed it's just almost strictly bad. Next up we have a 10 mana 6/6 Big Bad Archmage. At the end of your turn, summon a random 6-cost minion. Is this card good in Arena? No. I'm gonna give it a 1, only because it splits into 2 minions. Of course, you kill this minion, but 10 mana is pretty rough. If this like added to itself, it'd be complete garbage, but maybe it's better in Arena than I think it is. But right now, initially 10 mana for this card, 6 cost. If you top deck this, it's great because they might not be able to kill it, but still they might be able to. It's it's an interesting card. You know what? I'm gonna bump it up to 1.5. 1.5 candles. Now that I think about it, maybe it is better than I think it is. I don't see it being very good. 10 cost is really high for arena. Its saving grace is that it's 2 separate minions, essentially. As far as constructed, is this good? There might be a resurrect or a quick death rattle jump out in rogue or something like that that might make this actually annoyingly good. And you could play this in shaman, and you can play the evolution card. I forgot what it's called. Mutation. You play mutation on this, so then the 6/6 turns into I believe an 8/8. So that's okay, but I don't think that's good enough. Well, no, because then it's at the end of your turn. You can't even do that. That sucks. So it only might work in rogue and maybe in resurrect priest or something like that. Something where you can get this card out cheap. That's the only way I see this working. Other than that, I think it's pretty trash. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5, only because there might be a resurrect deck or something like that. So we'll see how that is. Next up, we have Batterhead, 8 mana, 3/12 rush. After this attacks and kills a minion, it may attack again. Now this is kills. This is not overkill. Overkill, you had to have 1 more damage for their health. This is not like it. I mean, this guy looks just like Bane. He's all juiced up and ready to go. Is this good? I actually think this is interesting in arena. I think it's okay in arena. I mean, the 12 health is pretty annoying. Kill 2 things. I mean, how many do you need to kill? Is this effective though in constructed? I think the only way it's effective in constructed is if aggro is just absolutely manhandling everything. But I really just don't see where this fits in a constructed deck right now. So I'm going to take that out. I do not think it's good. 1.5 candles for constructed. Next up, we have a 6 mana, 5/6. One of the best cards in the expansion. Unseen Saboteur. Looks like a Zombo. And he's just trying to cut a wheel, a wooden wheel. I don't know what he's doing, but he looks crazy, and he has a terrible tooth to gum ratio. I think he might. I don't know. Big forehead, receding hairline. Actually pretty great hair, I'll be honest with you. Either way, let's stop looking at that. Let's look at the card text here. Battle cry: your opponent casts a random spell from their hand, targets chosen randomly. Now that's very important because it could be against you, it could be against, I don't know, them. They have a power blast, they're saving the power blast for your face. You have 10 health. You drop this card. Well, it has a few options. Whatever else is on the board, this minion, or even actually no, this minion wouldn't be because the battle cry triggers first, so their spell actually shouldn't affect this minion as far as the rules of the game. So this minion is actually safe with that, which is interesting. But the power blast goes to their own face or their own minions. Or let's say you play a you know, they have whatever buff card in their hand. Well, it could buff your minions, or it could heal you, or whatever, something like that. So this card is awesome. It's another combo breaker. I love this, and Hecklebot are just hilarious cards. I love them. Hecklebot's a jerk because he's a taunt and he's got his hilarious face. This guy is a zombie and I don't know what he's doing, but another combo breaker, and I think this is awesome. I love this card. I love that they finally put a card like this. Sludge, no, what, I forgot what his name was. He was a 5 mana 5/5 that would make your opponent's spells next turn cost 5 more. Love the card. That they need more cards like that. I miss that card a lot actually, because it helped stave off, like, you know, well, it helped essentially give you another turn or win because of that, because they couldn't do anything. I like cards like that. This is just the sabotage you get from this is awesome. It's just fantastic. So I think this is a great card. I think in arena, this card is better than Hecklebot would be. So I think in arena, this card is interesting because a lot of times when you have spells in arena, they're good spells and you want to direct them specifically to something. So I think it's okay in arena. I don't know if you should pick it. I don't know. It might actually be pretty decent. I mean, and they lose a card. It's not like it goes back into their deck or something like that. Like, that card is gone, so they lose value essentially. I mean, obviously it could do whatever they wanted it to do for free, and that's bad. But I think more often than not, it's actually good for you because they don't get the specific value off of it. And now as far as constructed, I think it's 4.5. I think this card will be used a lot. Generally, when people put spells in their deck, it's a spell they want or need, and I think that's no exception with anything really. It's great. I think this is going to be used in a lot of decks, so yes, I'm going to give that a 4.5 for that one. Next up, we are up to the top echelon of cards, right? What do we have? Chef Nomi, 7 mana, 6/6. All right, not great stats. Let's see how great the battle cry is. We are in the legendaries now, so it's got to be awesome. Battle cry: if your deck is empty, summon 6/6 6/6/6. This is essentially a demon. 6/6/6. I see what they're doing here. Grease fire elementals. Here's the thing, I hate this card. I don't think this card's good. I don't see where this card works. Absolutely sucks in arena. I'm gonna give it half a slumpy scrumpy candle because you're never gonna run out of cards enough to get any type of value. Only saving grace is the fact that it's 7 mana 6/6, which is not great, but it's not the worst. Is this going to be used and constructed? Well, people are definitely going to try to build decks around it because it's an interesting type of card, but I think it's pretty bad. Solid 1 trash tier. I hate it. I don't like this card. I like that it gives people options and weird decks to play. I just don't like it other than that. Next up, we have 8 mana 6/6 Geppetto Joy Buzz. Draw 2 minions from your deck, set their attack, health, and cost to 1. I like this card. I think there's going to be a lot of combos with this card. I mean, even Mechathune. Let's say you just have a few cards in your deck. Mechathune. What's hilarious is, like, with Warlock, you're able to use, even if you draw Mechathune first, you can throw him back in the deck with that card that shuffles cards into your deck. So, like, there's ways to do that. And then, of course, you probably have other ways, I think, still, yeah, with the mechs, to still get Mechathune off. So I think Geppetto's actually decent, I think, for combos. Other than that, it's garbage. But like, even with the Malagos, you have a 1 mana Malagos. You don't need Malagos for the body, you need it for the minion, for the spell power. So I think this card is going to be in a lot of OTK decks, which Hecklebot and that other card are going to just absolutely be hilarious with, the Saboteur. But I do think this card will be used, so I'm going to give it a 4 candle. Now, I don't think this card is, like, itself is good. 8 mana 6/6 is trash. But I think in constructed, it's going to be used, and there's going to be a lot of combos that are going to try to use this, and they're probably going to be pretty decent, honestly. As far as arena, it's half a candle. It's garbage in arena. Why would you ever want to essentially lose 2 minions? Sure, you draw them, but unless you have awesome Death Rattle or Battle Cry minions, it just ruins your cards. That's awful. No. Next up, we have a 4 mana 2/6 Archmage Vargoth. At the end of your turn, cast a spell you've cast this turn. Oh, if it ended there, it'd be like, oh, that's awesome. Nope. Targets chosen randomly or are random. That's bad. Obviously, if it's like, oh, you play this, you play Blizzard. Blizzard can't go to your own minions, so you get double Blizzard. Okay, that's cool. But then what happens if you play a buff card? Well, they have minions on the board. I could buff them. I think this card's really bad, and I think it's bad almost always. I think I'm gonna give it a 1.5 in arena, and 1.5 in constructed. I think this card's bad. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Is there like a heal thing? I don't know. I just think this is bad. If the targets weren't random, I actually think this might be pretty good. But because they're random, it's bad. I don't like it. I don't like this card at all. I don't think it will be used. I think people will see how bad it is. And I might be missing something. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. All right, next up we have 8 mana 7/7 Archivist Elysiana. Battlecry, discover 5 cards, replace your deck with 2 copies of each. I think this card is pretty good. I like this card in constructed a lot. I mean, Warlock likes to blast through your cards, and maybe this is the card to do it. Maybe this is the control master card. This might even be in Warrior, you know, like a control warrior or something like that. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. I like the effect, and with other cards you can actually put more cards in your deck. So there's the what the hell is it? The rogue card that shuffles more into your deck, or there's the card that shuffles double the amount. And there's just so many there's so many weird combos that are just cool with this. And maybe you can make a rogue that draws your whole deck. You get this, then you get 5 awesome cards. You just keep drawing. Like, I don't know, I think this is an awesome card. I think it will be used not just for fun, but for like real control matchups. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 on that. I think in arena it's not very good, because why would you want to replace your deck? Generally in arena, unless you have a specific type of deck, you're not going to be fatiguing. Generally it doesn't happen as often as people might think. So I think in arena it's actually not very good, so I'm gonna give it 2 in arena. But man, this is a fun card. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Next up we have, and last, Barista Lynchin. 5 mana, 4/5. Not great stats, but what's the battle cry? Battle cry, add a copy of each of your other battle cry minions to your hand. That's right, that's decent. You get 1 battle cry card, that's decent. I think this is going to work well with rogue and lackeys and stuff like that. It might even work with murlocs. A lot of them are battle cries. I think this card is pretty good, and I think it's pretty good all around. I think it's a 4 in, oh man, I think it is a 4 in construct. I think this card will be used a surprising amount, and I think it's I think it's 4 in both. I think arena and constructed, they're both good. I think it just is a solid card. I think if you just get 1 battle cry, the value of this is pretty good. I think it's a good card. You get 2 or more, then it's, you know, it's pretty crazy at that point. I mean, the value is awesome. I think this is a very good card. I think people will use that card. And yeah, so that's all we have for you for the Hearthstone of them. Check out the other 9 classes, 10 each. This was 45. I hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely put it in the comments below. Tell me what you think. What's your favorite card? What combos do you see? What am I missing on some of the cards that are rated like garbage? You tell me. Put it in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think, and I will be back.